Now, the big talk of the night, AJ, Arman Tsarukyan did something that a lot of fans aren't happy about, man. If you go to the YouTube channel, it's all love for Joel Alvarez. That's all it was. Nobody was giving love to Tsarukyan. They're saying, hey, you got a good video right here, pal, but you picked wrong. That's what everybody was saying. Well, I don't think we did. I think we picked right on this one, but it comes at the cost right there of having two massive fan bases because Arman Tsarukyan, he has a massive fan base in Russia himself. Joel Alvarez, clearly the prodigy out of Spain, the destroyer out of Spain. And AJ, we have a little bit of clarity as to why the fight ended up how it ended up. So if you remember, at the end of the day, Arman Tsarukyan, man, he was on top of it from point A to point, Z, from start to bottom, nasty elbows, but getting the fight to the ground was the most important part, right? His wrestling is so good, he was able to mitigate the submission attempts of Joel Alvarez by getting into that half guard, by moving into certain positions where the submissions weren't necessarily a major threat to him. But I guess on the first takedown, AJ, Arman Tsarukyan broke a few of Joel Alvarez's ribs. That's what Ali Abdelaziz has now reported, that Joel Alvarez, a couple of those ribs got broken on the first takedown attempts as Arman Tsarukyan then, put it on him a little bit more, started dropping down some elbows, nasty cut on the bridge of the nose, leaking blood everywhere. There was really nothing he can do. And obviously the submission attempts are going to be even harder when now you're not only slippery with sweat, but blood is everywhere. In terms of an impact showcase performance, because I had Tsarukyan by decision, I didn't see a finish incoming for him. Where does this skyrocket the man? I watched every single one of Joel Alvarez's UFC fights, and I'm like, this man is an absolute destroyer. Like, he destroys everybody, except Damir Ismagulov, of course, right? What does this mean for Arman Tsarukyan? This is like a big-time win, brother. I can't overstate this enough. I think that this is the biggest win of the night, I think, personally. But where does this place him in the lightweight division?
Man, it moves him up. I mean, like you said, Joel Alvarez is an absolute destroyer, man. And the fact that we were able to see Tsarukyan on a full camp, fully dialed in, ready for his opponent, and then to smash him like that, like, it was a very, very impressive win for Tsarukyan, man, going forward. This is going to be a long-time contender in the division, man. And I know they have him, Tapology has him at number 12, but he's going to be fighting those top 10 opponents easily, or very, very quickly. He's going to have a lot of stuff going on for him. I think it jumps him up, man. I want to see this dude fight in that 10 through 5 range right now.
Well, let me ask you, do these two meet up again in their future?
Oh, yeah. 100%, man, because they're both young. I forget how old Joel Alvarez is, but I know Tsarukyan, what is he, 25? Yeah, dude, these dudes are going to be fighting again for sure.
Yeah, man, I definitely think that's going to be the case. I don't see this being too impactful for Joel Alvarez's career. I think that he's going to come back very strong from this because as long as he can make the weight class, as long as he can make 155, he's a dangerous, dangerous man right there. I will say when we're looking at the numbers, Tsarukyan, obviously, he had all of the control, 6 minutes of control time, 2 for 2 on his takedowns. Outlanded Joel Alvarez in total strikes 93-27. So that's kind of the thing. I said once Joel Alvarez gets going, it's dangerous, but he never got going in this fight. Arman Tsarukyan did what he needed to do. And the bigger question right here is he says his main goal is to basically fight until he gets in a position to fight Islam Makhachev for the belt, when Makhachev already has the belt, because he thinks that's what it's going to be. He wants the rematch. And we talked about it, right? We said, all right, if he would have just stepped in short 9 days notice to fight Islam Makhachev and then loses, you have no case for that trilogy match. Now the door is wide open, brother, and it has more heat on it than ever. I know, listen, folks, this isn't a political show, but we do need to be sympathetic to the, current events that are happening right now. You know what I mean? The Russia-Ukraine invasion and all of that stuff, man. I'm interested in how this affects the fighters, how this affects the global scene, because you have these prominent fighters hailing out of Russia, very prideful men, Dagestan, Russia, all of that. But for Arman Tsarukyan, he says he wants to fight Islam Makhachev again in Russia. I don't even know if that could happen at this point, given that the UFC isn't as a United States-based business. But either way, that is the fight to make, right, in the near future. Like, that's the inevitable final boss scene that we want to see between these two competitors. Am I correct?
100%, Derek. And I like the fact that Tsarukyan has that in his head where he's like, oh, yeah, no, I want him to win the strap. Yeah. And then I want to beat his ass to actually get that back. Like, I like that, man. Having that little bit of grudge, man, it makes me like Tsarukyan even more, and his performance. I mean, imagine the wrestling of Tsarukyan, or a full camp Tsarukyan versus Makhachev. Man, it's going to be a very exciting thing. I think you build him up a little bit more, get Makhachev that belt. That's a fight.
That's a real fight right there. I do want to just lastly note what makes this even more impressive is that Arman Tsarukyan, due to visa issues, wasn't even able to train at American Top Team for this camp. He had to train out there in Russia with just some like local Russian guys. And this was an interview that I was listening to. He's like, yeah, man, these aren't the most well-known guys. Like, you guys don't know who any of these people that I'm training with are, but trust me, this is the work that I need. I'm going to finish this dude, not a problem. And he did, man. Very, very, very impressive win by Arman Tsarukyan. Cannot wait to see him step into the cage again, man. Clearly one of the favorites in the lightweight division.